percentage of Americans who make a lot of money would consider themselves to be very happy? In this lesson, you will learn how to compute conditional relative frequencies by identifying the part and the total. First, let's review how to calculate a percentage. So I could ask you, what percentage of the following squares are orange? So you can see that we have a set of 12 squares. Some are orange and some are green, and we want to know what percentage of them are orange. So to find a percentage, the first thing you want to do is set up a fraction. The top of the fraction is going to represent the part that we're focusing in on. In this case, we only want to look at the squares that are orange. So we have 3 orange squares, and then we want to relate that to the total number of squares, which would be all the squares, which is 12 in this case. And then you just want to simplify that fraction down to a decimal, which is 0.25. And then you can change that to a percentage, either multiplying by 100 or moving the decimal 2 places to the right. So that would be 25%. So a fourth of these squares are orange. Another thing to review is that frequency means how many times something happens or is observed. And a two-way frequency table is a visual summary of these counts. So remember, the numbers that you see in a two-way frequency table tell you how many times something was observed. So let's look at a two-way frequency table that's going to relate the level of happiness that a person reported to their income level. In other words, how much money they made. You can see they would either make above average, average, or below average income. And then they would say that they're not too happy, pretty happy, or very happy. So when we talk about relative frequencies, we aren't just talking about a frequency. In other words, we aren't just going to focus on the 21 people who are above average and not too happy. We're actually going to relate that 21 to something. That's where the relative comes in. And we're going to relate it to the total, which in turn is going to create a percentage, just like we did with the squares. So we would say, what percentage of people were very happy? So again, we want to set up our fraction, part, and total. So looking at our two-way frequency table, we need to figure out what those part and total would be. So we're looking at the people who were very happy. You can see from the table that there were 414 people who said they were very happy. And then we had a total of 1,362 people who answered the survey. So my part would be 414 out of a possible 1,362, which simplifies to 0.30, and that's equivalent to 30%. So 30% of the people who answered this survey said that they were very happy. Now, another type of frequency we can look at is a conditional relative frequency. And it's very similar to a relative frequency in that we're still going to relate a part to a total and create a percentage. The difference is this time we have a certain condition we're going to look at, and we're only going to focus on that certain condition. So in this one, what percentage of people with above average income were very happy? So in the last one, we just looked at people who were very happy. But in this case, we're only going to focus on those people who reported above average income. So again, we need to identify our part and our total. So in this case, we're looking at those people who were very happy, 110, out of a possible 290 total. Now, we aren't using the total from the last one because this is a conditional relative frequency. Our condition is they have to have above average income. So we're only focusing on that first row. And then simplifying that gives us 38% of the people with above average income were very happy. Let's look at another example. What percentage of people who were not too happy had above average income? So this one, our condition is that somebody's not very happy, so we're only going to focus on that group. And then from that, we're going to look at the people who had above average income, which is 21 out of a possible 168. And that simplifies to be 13%. So 13% of people who were not too happy still had above average income. In this lesson, you learned how to compute conditional relative frequencies by identifying the part and the total.